So
yes, Mr.Ramires plays a whole bunch of characters, but the combination of Bloodport and just, to be honest with you, the initial burst of the walk speed, I think that's what makes Scarlet really efficient at it. Now, yeah, I haven't seen it in some time, but I've definitely heard almost a bit of a talk of the town that Scarlet players, during the kind of age of Shiva stomping everyone, there's a lot of Scarlet players on Twitter and stuff that like, I don't have any problems because their character just moves out of the way. Now, this could be famous last words, but I'm very curious to see if the Scarlet is the answer. Now, we tried to Bloodport. The first stomp we see, though, I like the fact that HStope didn't delay or anything. He gave Mr. Ramires no time to react.
Yeah, I think it was really just trying to check him, right? And now he's going to start delaying over here to start messing with his head a little bit as he needs to. Good blocks from Ramires, but gets opened up by that spinning shield. Good block again on the low, though. Yeah, clean punish right there.
Oh, and we go boiling point. So that's always going to chunk the life down. Neutral being controlled. Wow, wake up down 2 from Shiva. Ramires pressuring with a high and paying the price for it. Plus 15. Uh-oh. Get down.
Still standing.
Oh, no.
And that is rough right there. I mean, you really just can't use, I mean, as you mentioned many a times before, he's just unbreakable. You know, being forced to hold all that and also being kept standing, that's another thing, you know, against that kind of damage in the corner. But the back 3 boiling point right here going to take a nice chunk of damage. Mr. Ramires is putting out that red rain as well to work with.
Less damage though because you're stuck in red rain. Yeah, I love it. Wait for the jump in and just teleport to reposition.
Great back
punish. Hang on a minute, we're starting to get a bit more comfortable right here, it seems. Oh, with a shimmy, trying to catch you pressing the button with punish.
The movement right now from Ramires is impeccable, as he's just not really suffering too much. Gets himself opened up, though, into that spinning dragon shield. Now the 1-2 checks right here. We're seeing HStope just try and find an opening. Gets a flawless block, but doesn't have the defensive bar to actually go for a reversal. I'm not even sure if Shiva's reversals work that well against Scarlet. She's got quite a vertical up 2, doesn't she? So...
Oh, punishable up 2 goes... Say up 2. The punishable overhead gets punished immediately. The stagger into grab is great, and importantly, keeps the corner positioning. Mr. Ramires looking like that first round might have been a little bit of a warm-up, perhaps.
Final round.
Yeah, looking a lot more comfortable now, and I mean, Ramires is like one of the premier Scarlet players that we usually tend to see in these top 8s, you know, across Europe.
Wow, rare footage of up 3 whiffing. Not used to seeing that move miss when it has some crazy range. Oh my lord. You hesitate.
Just raw 18%, right? Just straight away from that ground trap.
Cost delay. So he's mixing up his stomp timing to make it really awkward to deal with and tries to interrupt.
Yeah, good block right there. Dropped punish though from Mr. Ramires.
Which really sucks considering her damage is so high. The heal's great though. Fatal blow. The recovery!
Oh, the up 3! Yeah, that would be the option, I guess, instead of the up 2. Just going for that quick knockback, get those minor plus frames over there. Mr. Ramires still has us within the realm of possibility to try and make this comeback. I think one good 4-4 into Fatal Blow might kill.
Oh, with it though! Point! The wrong range! Falcon! Oh my lordy lord! The teleport was the right call out, but the wrong move!
If he had committed to the teleport 4-4 Fatal, I genuinely think it would have worked. Like, I genuinely think that would have worked, but the wrong range in that boiling point really cost him the game right there.
Absolutely. The idea was there. The execution just wasn't. The fatal blow ready to go. The chance to heal as well. That's a bit tragic, I think. But that first game, getting into the flow of the matchup, I think Mr. Ramires was playing it really well. But HStope, it just comes down to the brute force nature of this variation that he's put together. I'm a huge fan of it.
Yeah, I mean, it is just ridiculously impressive, right? And HStope is just bringing this to the table. I mean, he's really just putting it out there for the world to see, essentially, right? That, hey, look how crazy this variation of Shiva is as well. Like, I know a lot of people are very focused around, like, Dragon Stance. There are people who are always complaining about Stomp. But in reality, I mean, that low grab and being able to recycle a situation where you can make that low grab a constant threat along other beams of frequency of chip damage, you know, high meterless damage, unbreakable. It's like, all of it together is just a ridiculous powerhouse, essentially, and HStope is playing it to near perfection.
Oh, speaking of which, the mix-ups begin. Now the advancing back one, just in case you try and challenge. Going in for the dragon stance a little bit earlier to create the plus frames, and the pressure just never ends. Tries to get the down one back for the floor though, a little bit too mistimed. The up three, that flawless block timing. Oof, overhead out of nowhere. Another flawless block, but too far away twice in a row.
Yeah, couldn't make much more out of that flawless block on the up three right now. Ramires trying to desperately find a hit, but he's gonna get opened up. And the meter burn just to close out the round. H-Dope looking like he was in the driver's seat of that entire round.
This has been absolute spinning dragon, the exhibition, the masterclass, I think, of how to play a very ruler-heavy Shiva, and we get that corner launch once more. No break from Mr.Ramires. That down one into grab would have been a death sentence.
Yeah, for sure. You do not want to give Shiva that crushing blow right there, but I wonder, people are getting hit by... They blocked like the first hit of the shield spin, and they're getting hit by the second to third hits. I wonder what that's for, but the 1-2-4 punish on that whiff throw attempt gonna build back a little bit of life is Mr.Ramires. No bar to spend, unfortunately, on that straight shot right there. Using the 4-4's plus frames, but the backdash into the whiff punish.
Wait a minute, this is checkmate if this doesn't kill. Which it will. Even if it didn't, that was going to be a stomp with Mr.Ramires' name on it and an unwinnable situation.
I actually wonder if Ramires could have won that situation, because I don't think teleport will trigger the bleed. It's not a physical movement, like it's a special based movement, the same way Scorpion's teleport wouldn't trigger the bleed.
That's
so
true. That is
I wonder
true.
if he had a perfect teleport, he might have actually been able to take that.
But I mean, this is, for me, it's a impressive showing of just... It's kind of like what you said in the last game. I like this idea that the way that H-Dope is playing this character here is essentially taking one of the scariest parts of her game, which is that complete 50-50. I mean, she's basically an MKX character. It's one of the reasons that she's so devastating here, because a lot of characters don't have this degree of just threatening built-in mix-up.
Yeah.
The second you take that Queen's Punishment, that low, that mix-up exists in so many different ways where your opponent just has to guess. If you have something that creates, and like you quite rightly said, recycles that situation,
yeah,
it's scary to deal with.
It's like a pseudo vortex almost, isn't it? It's like it's just a really rough part, because once you guess wrong, you are put back into that situation where you could guess wrong again, and then there's a lot of mental damage that starts applying, you know, over the course of time, which could eventually start tilting players or just gradually decreasing their morale. But Ramires has definitely been fighting back just as hard as before. We're just seeing a lot more frequency and adaptations from H-Dope right now. He's just playing his game plan just a lot more comfortably.
I think it's also very easy for some people to try and discredit H-Dope, because I know Shiva's not exactly the most popular character in the competitive scene right now, but it's not like we didn't just see his Joker versus K-Top do an absolute ton of work to reach this point. This guy is talented.
Yeah.
He plays Spawn, he plays... we've seen the Joker from him, we've seen Wow, we've seen Liu Kang.
Yeah,
He's a whole bunch of characters, but Shiva is the one that just complements his style the absolute best. Really forefronting this one specific style, the spinning dragon, which I'd love to see more of it in the future from other players, because clearly tried and tested in tournaments.
Okay, you can see Ramires just trying to dash his way out to actually fish for the punish on that stomp right there. Wasn't able to get it though, as now H-Dope is really just kind of fishing for a hit at this point. Once again, flawless block reversal straight away into the up three, completely mitigating any of that momentum or pressure that Scarlet is trying to build. You know, riddled with these flawless block gaps right there.
Grabs right now. We can see the 10 seconds on the clock, but is that even going to have a factor here? Go down one into down one. Oh, shield spin, and this is going to create a reset point here for H-Dope, who in rather swift fashion is looking to bring us back into a final set situation, Falcon.
Yeah, just, I mean, as you said it, I mean, but Mr. Ramires, you know, it's like he's fighting back so hard right now. It just seems like he's absolutely flustered, like kind of at a loss for what to do and how to approach this matchup in general. As you see that back three boiling point, dialed in, not going to work out. Neutral jump from Mr. Ramires, couldn't really get anything going for himself. Forward check as well into that forward throw. He's just starting to do damage to H-Dope, but once H-Dope gets the ball rolling, it's going to be really tough for him to get out of that one. Almost at the punish, he's going to get counter hit for it though.
Now, my favorite thing about this match, too, is that we were talking about Scarlet having a lot of answers for Stomp, but H-Dope is almost never using the Stomp. This has been him just forcing his way forward, getting a punish, getting something on block, and just having this mix-up position with the spinning dragon is a real pain in the backside to deal with that Now here comes the stomp, and this time it misses. But the bulk of the work is being done by just his use of sticking within that just short of jump distance range.
Yeah.
Where you're always scared of his buttons. He's still, like I said, it's just strong-arming your way into offense.
See, like, you got advancing mids, a good dash, you've got back throw Oki. It's like, you have all of that to essentially start guessing with. Then you got the overhead straight into the low grab as well. It's like, Shiva's just got a lot of ways to make you guess, and H-Dope is doing, as you said, like a lot of the breadth of the work is really just coming from not using Stomp. It's like you have a clear weakness that can be addressed by a character, just don't use it that much. As you can see, Ramires is dealing with the Stomp very well now, but I mean, this situation, we got H-Dope with Fatal Blow. We've been seeing him very unafraid to use it earlier on, but holding the plus frames from the 4-4 right there. Mr. Ramires in a really good situation to potentially chip out H-Dope, but the counter hit, guessing game.
Wait a minute. Now, Mr. Ramires has defensive bar. We could still see some kind of opportunity. The wake-up teleport. Oh, the up 3. Hang on a minute. I love the block on the overhead, but no, you're flipped. Is this going to be a full life comeback right here, right now?
This feels impossible to call. I feel like it's really going to come down to this situation. If Ramires can guess right over here. No, not close enough. Oh, went for the interactable. Not enough. Oh, what? No! The blood tongue. The blood tongue made it whiff.
Oh my good lord. And that would have been a free mix-up too. What a pivotal moment that was.
My goodness, Mr. Ramires taking that one in ridiculous fashion, really. I mean, neither of us saw that coming. That looked like the perfect flawless block from H-Dope to put him into that mixed situation that Ketchup just mentioned, and it lost to the blood tongue. You know, what if it was a thing where, you know, the brutalities trigger and it kills straight away? Where it was one of those where the up 3 might have actually traded with like the beginning startup frames of the blood tongue, but it triggered the brutal. Now that might be a far stretch, but I wonder if that could have been something that happened. But generally speaking, looking at it, it looked like Scarlet backswayed and avoided the up 3.
I think that's the more common scenario, that you just move back. Just because you can, in theory, up 3 or up 2 a situation doesn't mean that your character's one specifically in that moment will work. And I guess the up 3, although it's been the answer, because up 2 will be far too stubby, moving backwards and preventing what would have been a almost impossible 1% life comeback. And it has actually put Mr. Ramires on the board, though. But that entire round came from stomps all over the place. And that was a stomp round, and every single one missed and got H-Dope majorly punished. And we were just complimenting the game plan of using stomp sparingly and more playing that kind of close-range brawler game. The one round he didn't really slipped through his fingers.
Yeah.
He left of that now. And there's another stomp. This one's going to whiff. Can't be too hasty to close things out. This is still Scarlet we're talking about. There's the punish.
Yeah, that late breakaway as well, knowing that Mr. Ramires was going to go, excuse me, confidently into the full combo. I don't know what happened. My voice is being sabotaged right there. And yeah, Ramires is, you know, just playing this matchup really well. I'm sure that he was sweating a lot after denying that comeback from the last one. I'm sure that he's playing like he feels a lot more confident right now as well. You're seeing a lot of frequency and staggers, a lot of movement. Look at that! Walking him backwards, but didn't want to go for the punish over there, probably not feeling it right in that moment, as he now has H-Dope in Fatal Blow territory with a very nice health lead to back.
Ooh! Still taking the risks on the overhead. Arraigned, and there's a whip punish. Boom! And that's another round on the board. Mr. Ramires looks like in the footsies alone. Catching wind of H-Dope. Swinging a bit too hard right now and getting whiff punished constantly to jump back. No air to air though, not quite.
Ramires is using Scarlet's very good walk speed and dash speed as well, you know, between each other very wisely to just create the space and make it very hard for H-Dope to actually approach, because Shiva is also kind of a stubby character, you know, and he's using that well, but we have to see more in terms of just raw whip punishments out of Mr. Ramires to cash out in as much as he can get, because if H-Dope is giving him these opportunities, it'd be nice to see him maximize his potential from these opportunities if he wants a chance to win in scrap finals.
Regular teleport is going to be a pretty massive part of this matchup from max range. You know, you go for the dragon stance and the fireballs and you've overcommitted. One teleport will punish you, but we did quite rightly see H-Dope go for the stance and cancel it, but now a clean jump in's good. And the launch, but no, the drop in the corner. That's going to hurt. Even more so as now thrown into the corner instead.
Oh my goodness. That was an Injustice Air Square if I've ever seen one right there. He just reacted to the jump in straight away, acknowledged he wasn't going to anti-air that. Great option for Mr. Ramires. Gets the standing 2 with the back throw. That's not going to kill. Very, very close though.
Oh, didn't get a chance to move. The stomp comes out to create the situation. And will he be able to get it again? No, it whiffs. The up 3 is great.
You can tell he tried the blood tongue again over there. It didn't really work out for Ramires, but the down 1 punish doing exactly what he needs to do. You're not even trying to go for a slower punish over there, just in case of block stun frames and online delay or whatever. Just going for the down one, nice and simple, guarantees himself the game. Now, Mr. Ramires looking a little bit back on form, you know, as we've seen him before.
And the stomp for H-Dope, that wasn't going to be a round of, okay, I'm just going to stomp constantly and see what happens. That was, I'm going to stomp, create that situation. Because like I said, he is playing a very point-blank only Shiva. The stomp is what allows that to happen because you get the knockdown, you can dash in and do something. And that's, I think, really what he was looking for. He had no life to work with, didn't want to get hit by a projectile, didn't want to get hit by the plethora of ranged buttons that Scarlet has. Just try to somewhat cut it short. Now, wait a minute. H-Dope has always had a Cetrion. And I know that Scarlet players have said in the past they despise this matchup. So this is a last-ditch effort to try and get that reset. Mr. Ramires on the verge of a reverse sweep here, Falcon. Do you think he can pull it off, or are we going to have an ended tournament right now?
Well, I think Ramires, at this point, you know, playing Scarlet at the level he's been playing, I think it's safe to say he's been fighting against many Cetrions up until now, but whether or not he can deal with H-Dope Cetrion is another question. If H-Dope is willing to rock this character that is highly regarded as, you know, the top one character in this game, and really play Scarlet's game plan just a little bit better than her, then it could be entirely in H-Dope's favor. But I think Ramires is pretty well equipped for this one.
It's a matchup I'm sure he's played a whole bunch. Whether he uses Scarlet for the matchup or not, that I guess is another story, because you know, part of specializing in a character is knowing when they're not the character for the job. And I know a lot of Scarlet players do not play this matchup if they have to, but as Mr. Ramires, he didn't win that first game. Well, actually, yeah, he didn't. You don't have the luxury of that final character change, right? So you're locked into this, and you have to work hard for that tournament win. Being in the winner's side doesn't mean that if Ramires wins this game, the tournament is over. And if he loses, then, I mean, we're going straight into a fresh 3 out of 5. There's the knockdown. Can he create some kind of situation for himself? Cetrion, the ranged game, can definitely counter zone.
Okay, the interruption on the boulder, forcing the breakaway as well. That 4-4-3 confirm into that straight bloodshot. Till H-Dope getting the flawless block, trying to use that 1-1 with the back two anti-air right there, the overhead.
That sometimes whiffs, so I was a bit nervous when I saw that.
I usually see that whiff too. But the confirm, 1-1 into fatal blow. I don't know if that's enough. Is that gonna kill? I think it is.
It's hard to say. I think she'll barely survive.
You called it, yeah. 7.81 life remaining. This is ship territory. You gotta watch out for those earthquakes. You can see him frantically jumping. He avoided them. Oh, and the air to air.
Now, I guess if we're going into like any kind of silver lining, at least the fatal blow is gone. But I'm sure he would have rather won the round counter hit at the beginning of what could be the end in the winner's bracket, as H-Dope is just about to reset. Oh no!
So well, that 1-1 from the pushback on the moves before. You see at this range, he's using that 1-1 again, but Mr. Ramires being wise to it this time. He's going to get himself a confirm in the corner. He has H-Dope off that defensive bar for the breakaway. He's also got the escape failed for the throw KB. Whether or not he's able to use him is another story, but he's going to find himself a hit. No confirm into that straight bloodshot. That could have really benefited him.
Oh wait, Scarlet. Fatal blow. As long as that fatal blow exists, Scarlet has explosive damage output. But that anti-air is much harder.
Oh, the flawless block. Not enough for Ramires, but the wall to close things out. And we have a reset over here in Grand Finals. Now, this gives, obviously, Ramires the liberty of being able to counterpick and kind of go into the fresh set a bit stronger.
So this opens up the question of what's our first match going to be here now. Because we know that the Cetrion is able to fight the Scarlet, which, to be fair, was a good pick there from H-Dope. Like I said, a lot of Scarlet players say that they do not like fighting Cetrion at all, to the point where they use different characters in the matchup, actually, from what I've seen.
Yeah.
But you're locked into it, right? H-Dope had the luxury of that final character change and goes for essentially a counter pick. And Mr. Ramires going in with the Kotal Khan. Have not seen Kotal Khan in some time from Mr. Ramires, but I remember it being real solid.
Yeah, Mr. Ramires, you know, we've mentioned this before, plays quite a number of different characters, and probably just feeling the general, I mean, just looking at both these characters alone, Kotal Khan has ways to approach Sin's customs against Shiva. You know, Amplified Cat being a really good projectile crush option is going to factor out things like Beam. It's going to factor out Earthquake as well, because you're going to go straight over it. And he has the options of gap closing should Ramires opt to play, you know, the Tekwani Mole special. But generally speaking, Kotal has an absurd amount of damage in comparison. So we're going to see the command grab, the con cut, and the grand discus. So I think a pretty much the most common codal variation you see from people. Surprised not to see the damage totem as well, though.
Round 1.
And here we go. Kotal Khan, definitely a character that can fight Cetrion in terms of, look, he's always going to have damage where she does not. She gets KBs, yeah, sure, but who doesn't have KB damage for the most part? Whereas when it comes to Kotal Khan, this is where we get an entirely different story. He hits you, it hurts. Big time. He's going to want to keep Kotal Khan as far enough away as possible. You're the butler with a forward 2 range. Looking ready for this matchup, though.
Yeah, definitely prepared for it. Now, you know, H2O being Greek, Greece known to have another really strong Kotal Khan player out there as well with Quar. You know, maybe has that matchup experience, just generally playing against, you know, a high-level Kotal Khan. But that 1-1 into the deadly wins right there, disrespected with that down one straight away from Mr.Ramires. He's going to go into the tick grab off the 1-2. Now, I'm pretty sure he's not going to spin the bar here. He's going to go for the mid-screen Oki. Unblockable?
Oh, gimmicks. Let's go. Ooh, advance. Now we push towards the corner. Cetrion the push back to the win, so good. Oh, looking for a counter hit perhaps. Going right through that rock wall.
Okay, there, the maximization from the launcher over there, taking that con cut really coming in handy for him. As all he needed was that jump in, gonna get it confirmed into the fatal blow. Now this is gonna do a lot of damage. Not gonna kill H2O, but it's gonna put him in a guessing situation.
Oh, wake up fatal blow! That's gonna be a bit of a tilter, surely. No one was expecting a fatal blow from that distance, but able to power through the discus. I don't even know if the discus had a chance to land there. Fatal blow came out way too fast in the first round of H2O. It's going to put him into a comfortable situation, and for the first time has taken us the lead in the set.
Yeah, and you know, I think the discus was probably just like a bait attempt or something like that, probably fishing for that KB just to close things out, but in reality, I mean, it didn't seem like a guaranteed option over there. Now he's going to find a 4-2-4 confirm, forces the breakaway from H2O, and that short hop 3 to establish a little bit of pressure in the corner. H2O guessing wrong again. This is a scary place to be against Kotal Khan.
Wow, just a raw jumping straight out of the corner. But there's that confirm into the Khan cut. All the same, and you side switch, but right back where we want Cetrion to be.
Oh my goodness, that was cheeky. 4-2 unblockable. Have we ever seen that in competitive, especially in grand finals? I mean, when do we see Kotal Khan in grand finals, let alone that? But the goal for Mr.Ramires is gonna get it confirmed over here, almost 30% on the table. H2O's only just built back that bar.
Push back in the regular wins, but when you push back, Kotal Khan goes to a range where he's like, okay, I'll fight you. Got a forward 2.
Tell H2O is fishing for a hit right now, you know, preemptively using the San 1-1s as well, the 4-2 buffer into the deadly wins. Mr.Ramires just needs one good touch as well. There's no breakaway for H2O if he does manage to find himself hit.
The respect is being shown for good reason. Ramires knows one clean opening and we're going to take the lead in the set at last. Speaking of which, there's the breaker and a last chance now. Oh!
Okay. Seeing Ramires, oh, didn't want to commit though. Into the unblockable again? Almost dead.
No, he mistimes the meaty! He mistimes the meaty! Oh my god, the high gets low profiles. The sunray. No! Mr.Ramires had an almost checkmate situation, Vulcan, but he mistimed the forward 2 meaty and he got whiff punished. That is tragic stuff.
That one is an absolute heartbreaker for Mr.Ramires, but he was so close to winning that game. It really came down to just timing that perfectly. And I guess at that space, I mean, how are you going to do that? It's a tough ask anyway, but it really did come down to that final moment, you know, that like short delay from H2O straight away into the wake up buttons, just blowing him up for it. And now, I mean, I don't want to be calling this a bit too early, but it seems like Ramires might be getting a little bit tilted after how some of these games have ended.
I mean, 99.9% of us would absolutely have been tilted after how that one happened, because you ever... Oh, so few characters can be in a situation in this game, outside of, you know, the obvious last breath and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where they can put you in a situation that's pretty much guaranteed for them to win. And Kotal Khan button into Sunray is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of those situations. It's just that, I mean, I'd need to go and check the tapes, but I'm pretty sure what happened was he tried to do the forward 2, mistimed the meaty, so it didn't jail. And then before he could do the sun ray, he got whip punished on waypoint.
Yeah,
that is a situation you could go in training and get the time 10 out of 10 times, but in the match, it just didn't go that way, you know?
Yeah, you gotta deal with the human factor, you know? Playing that mind game about when you knock them down, when are they actually gonna be getting back up? So even if you're gonna try and guarantee a game, it's like, it's still a rough one. Right now, H-Dope has a lot of momentum on the table. Mr.Ramires is getting hit by smaller increments of damage, but very frequently right there. That almost worked out for H-Dope with the straight boulder. Could have potentially gotten a KB from that.
Late active frame KB on boulder is something I'm never going to get used to seeing. It just always takes you by surprise, even after 2 years. But now the advancing buttons here, Mr.Ramires trying to do what Kotal Khan does best. Force his way into that point blank position, really, but hasn't a chance to establish what he picks up.
He hasn't, but the forward 1-2, he's gonna get the launch now. Ramirez is gonna spin the bar, it should kill over here, and keep H-Dope in the corner, which it does. And right now, I mean, Ramirez, it's good that he's showing signs of life, you know, he's very much dedicated. He made Grand Finals winner's side, I'm sure he's incredibly hungry for this win. He doesn't want to get swept up from someone in the loser side of the bracket right here, but this is looking a little bit tough, you know, he's gonna have to find his approach a little bit better, start working his way in.
Oh, swinging a bit too hard there. H-Dope on defense with that forward 2 connects cleanly. Here comes that full combo for Kotal Khan. Damage buff as well. But this time we're cashing out. Ramirez does not want to be in a situation where he compromises damage for anything. Return though. H-Dope able to return fire. Plus on hit barrier. Such an important base move to have. It complements so much of her kit. Buttons upon pushback, but I have a bit of my own.
Yeah. I really like that back 2-2 option as well from Mr. Ramires, just to force the whiff over there. Using the Grand Discus as well, just get the knockdown. Tell H-Dope was fishing for the KB over there. Tried to get the Deadly Winds to go for the restand because of a really high positioning from Ramirez, and the Hell's Wrath close out the round. H-Dope really just making this so hard for Ramirez, but you can tell it's within Ramirez's hands. Like, it's so close. When he finds his hits, he's either getting the breakaway or he's doing an absurd amount of damage into a favorable situation. But you know, still has to deal with all the chip damage and all the stray hits, but that Discus KB is going to be really beneficial for him. A nice 25% in this final round.
We go back to this patient game so far, but you can only be patient for so long with this many projectiles flying at you as Kotal Khan. The trade, not a terrible trade for Mr.
Oh, but that was really good for him. Getting the breakaway over there off the Discus, I don't think that's entirely what H-Dope wanted. I can't imagine wanting to break over there. Maybe just to avoid.
Mustard and I call it one of those breakaways.
Definitely. Ramirez is just trying to play outside of range of the natural barrier. Really doesn't want to be on the receiving end of that. I mean, we know how much work it's been doing for H-Dope over here in the set. Clean jump over the boulder right now. I mean, Ramirez is going to get the confirmed down one. Oh, didn't go for the command grab.
I think it's because he was caught jumping, right? So maybe he just didn't trust the gravity. They trade. And the tick. Hang on a minute. We're going to amp it.
That should kill. I think. No, not enough.
Wake up button. No! Oh. He pressed. He pressed.
Goodness, Ketchup. What is going on right now? He forced the whiff right there. That, what was it? A down one backdash into 4-2-3, and then the counter poke just got blown up by Mr. Ramirez. Confirmed straight away into Fatal Blow by H-Dope, who now has 2 points up on Ramirez in this reset.
That was, I'm going to be honest though, that was kind of clean from H-Dope, because the wake up buttons, he had to do it. He had to fight back because he was going to get put in that checkmate position again with Sunray, right? He had no choice. But the fact that he acknowledged that the wake up button into pushback gave him enough range to not try and jump, not try and be too hasty. He still had the peace of mind in that situation to back up and wait for the inevitable button and stick out the mid to whiff punish. Like, it was a really clean way of winning the game in a position where he had such little hope of winning. And Ramirez, you said it's Ramirez is losing in some rather tilting ways. I think that is simply moving forward. That's another heartbreaker to lose. And Mr. Ramirez going in with this noob sidebot. I was thinking about it. You have to realize going in with noob. The reason I think he second guessed it is if he picked noob sidebot there and won, there's no way H-Dope wouldn't have picked Shiva. And Shiva versus noob,
it was a guarantee, right? Bother. But it's like Shiva versus Kotal. Now that's not too bad, right? But it's like, now this is a rough one, because H-Dope has that points advantage, you know, and now it comes the counterpick situation where both these guys play a lot of characters, but Ramires is going to have to be sticking to his guns. He's going to be rocking the same Kotal Khan variation that we've been seeing since this bracket reset, and he's been very close to winning these games over here. H-Dope has ultimately been the one to pull through when it matters.
Cetron's been quite the pick against Mr.Ramires so far. I've not actually seen Cetron versus Sindel matchup in quite some time, but I wonder if there is a reason Ramires isn't playing that one, considering Sindel will spend the absolute majority of the heavy lifting game into grand finals. Scarlet versus Cetron would make no sense. It's a matchup they hate. Kotal Khan looking more practiced. The noob Cybot in theory could have done well versus Cetron, but then you have to realize it would be a Shiva up next, and ain't no noob Cybots want to play that matchup. But there's the man, Ramires fighting back.
Yeah, that great bait right there after applying, you know, a lot of, you know, the frequent, I guess, gimmick pressure in the corner and just finding that few hits and stuff, kind of forcing the H2O pour out of H-Dope and was ready to challenge it straight away with the moment he did it. Now we're seeing Ramires just be really patient on neutral. You know, he's trying to weave his way through. Good throws hit. Just to find that forward two and get to confirm, like there. Over here now, H-Dope forced off that breakaway. He had to, and I'm sure that command grab was a missed input right there for Mr. Ramires, who got caught in the counter hit, but luckily it didn't amount to too much.
Oh, we're gonna amplify again. Ramires, normally some Kotal Khan players, they do like to go for regular command grab just to keep better frame data, but I think right now he wants damage. He wants damage right now as he'll add.
I don't know why he didn't spend the KB though, off the punish, because there was no breakaway on the side of H-Dope. Hopefully that one doesn't come back to haunt him, but it looks like he is going to be taking the game with this command grab. Mr. Ramires keeping himself alive once again at death's door.
And I think definitely, we said tilted. I think tilted is confirmed with that kind of pop-off after the game. How many games did it take for Mr. Ramires to actually get a win here? The second he does, we see that. Now, I personally, will be honest, I actually think that's a mistake. Why show the opponent that they bothered you that much in a grand finals where they're up on games? I think that you're kind of giving H-Dope too much information, because if he knows that you're tilted, that's just giving him a mental advantage outright.
Unless he's trying to play the reverse psychology game or something, where he's just trying to play basic psychology, where he's trying to tilt H-Dope now. You know, or he's like, I'm just gonna teabag you and I'm gonna fatal you. If it gets on your nerves, that's just better for me. Chances are you'll probably slip up in the next few games, because I guess now could have potentially been the only opportunity that Ramires gets to do that, right? But you're totally right though. He just gave away that information to say, yeah, man, I'm pretty frustrated. And I think if H-Dope, you know, is able to decipher that, then it could be good for him. But the Shiva pick, I'm pretty sure we expected this. Just there was no chance that it wasn't going to happen if the Cetrion was dealt with. He had a good run with Cetrion, got himself the reset, got himself 2 games as well after the reset. But now we're seeing him back on that Shiva that we've been seeing him tear through the rest of the bracket with so far.
Now, going in with the main, this will be a heavy-hitting matchup, absolutely.
Round 1.
Advantage though, damage alone, you actually kind of think you have to give it to Shiva, because Kotal Khan, to get his damage here, will need a launch, right? He has to hit the Khan cut, but you can break that. You can't break what Shiva does. So he's going to consistently get a little bit more here to cancel.
So I'm curious to see that Ramires doesn't run Cat as well, generally speaking, when playing Kotal, because in this situation, like when you're playing in Shiva, Cat is just such an amazing answer to Stomp, because it never hits you. Like, regardless of if it's delayed or not, you can always Cat reaction, which could have been
interruption attempts right now, by the way. I think the threat of the spin has really come about. Oh, looking for a whip punish, down 1, low profile.
Yeah, no, using that down 3 to check him as well. Going for the Grand Discus, he's going to knock him towards the corner, but that overcommitment right there is going to get counter hit by the Stomp. Ramires trying to go for the air-to-air, and H-Dope now once again on tournament point.
Round 2.
Now, the tournament point does indeed exist for H-Dope, who buffers the back forward just in case. Debuff time. It's going to be the stance. More of it. To create the damage. Ramires unable to establish anything here. The parry. Oh, but the blow up.
More.
The stance.
Oh, this is brutal right now for Ramires. He's just taking all of his health and chip damage. Just trying to close the gap right now. And the Dragon Stance with a flawless.
H-Dope is sitting there going, all right, mate, is your down input still working? How about this? Oh, he's definitely trying to fatality. He's not going to friendship. This will not be a friendship. Oh, it will be.
Oh,
H-Dope, nice guy. Nice guy. Remains the less rude player, I guess. But I tell you what, that last round must have been a bit satisfying, to be completely honest. But
yeah.
going in with the Shiva and that last final game is going to give H-Dope that tournament win. And I'm actually happy to see H-Dope get a win because he's been grinding this for a while, and this was